This is not going to be you need to stop fishing from a bass boat and get a kayak video, because I still bass fish on both platforms and I have no plans on stopping either. This is a video to show you the options you might not have thought about. I'm going to compare pros and cons of both fishing platforms and my journey into kayak bass fishing. A lot of people have asked me how and why I started fishing out of a kayak, because they thought I only fished out of a bass boat. Let's set the record straight. First of all, I did not wake up one morning and say, I'm going to start fishing out of a kayak. There's a story on how I got here, and I'm going to give you the short version of what happened. I had a 2021 Nitro Z20 Pro package, brand new with a 250 on it. I got a call one morning, about 2:30. It was from a block number, so I didn't pick it up. And the next thing, they left a voicemail. So I picked it up, and it was the Belmont Police Department. I was like, what? So I called back, and I got the officer, and they asked me, do you have a 2021 Nitro bass boat? And I said, yeah. So they asked me where it was. I told them it's in storage. They said, I don't think so. You might want to check. So I went and checked, and the boat was gone. So I called back and said, yes, the boat is gone. They told me where they actually had the boat. I was like, I went up there, and they had totally gutted the entire boat. I was just in awe. I mean, it's like one of the worst things I've ever seen, to tell you the truth. These are some of the before and after pictures of what happened to my boat. The reason I didn't get another boat is I truly felt violated. And if I got another boat, it would have to be stored at the house, because I wasn't going to go through the heartbreak and frustration again by placing it in another storage facility. Just in case you're wondering, my insurance company took care of everything in a very timely manner. And I hope this little piece of information that I'm getting ready to give you now helps someone else out. Please have enough insurance on the gear in your boat. I didn't, and it cost me $15,000. When you add all the equipment, rods and lures, and the reels, you'll be surprised at the cost. Please protect your investment. Now that we got the sob story out the way, let's get down to the meat and potatoes. First, who doesn't like going down the lake at 70 miles per hour? It's a freaking blast. Let's look at the pros of a bass boat. The main thing about a bass boat that is faster and more efficient in covering water in less time. You can cover a large body of water and explore different areas with ease. This can increase your chances of finding fish dramatically. Bass boats have more storage space, and for all your gear, you can bring all 62 colors of your favorite crankbait and have room left over. They provide a more comfortable fishing experience and ample leg room for some people. Bass boats have greater stability in rough water, keeping you safe and secure when the winds pick up and the waves get choppy. Bass boats also give you an option for multiple passengers and the ability to walk from the front of the boat to the back of the boat without fear of tipping over. Now, let's look at the cons of a bass boat. Number one, price. Not everyone has $100,000 or more to get a new top-of-the-line tournament-ready bass boat with all the bells and whistles. An entry-level tournament bass boat that will allow you to be competitive will start out around $60,000. There's also the used market. I would just say do your due diligence if you're going to buy used. The maintenance can be astronomical. Then you have your expenses of a bass boat: gas, insurance, maintenance, and possibly storage. You're also probably going to need a truck to pull it. On the low end of things, a new bass boat and expenses may run you around $1,000 a month, $12,000 a year, and $120,000 over a 10-year period. That, my friends, is a lot of money. Hopefully, you're going to cash a couple checks to help you out. Let's switch things up and talk about kayaks. My initial thought on kayaks back in the day when I was a kid, I didn't have a great experience in kayaks. The first thing I thought about when I started thinking about trying to fish out of a kayak was this. What changed my mind, I went down to a Queen City kayak demo to see what they had to offer, and I was surprised to see how stable the kayaks were. I could even stand in them and fish. Kayaks have come a long way. The kayak that I currently have is a Native Titan X 12.5, and this kayak is probably the most stable kayak on the water. Let's look at the pros of fishing from a kayak. Price. Compared to a bass boat, they're a lot more affordable. Still, like anything else these days you buy, you get what you pay for. If you're in the market to purchase a new kayak, here's the most important advice I can give you. Buy your second kayak first. You will definitely thank me later. They also can be easy to transport and store. Kayaks can also access areas like bass boats can't and provide a stealthy approach. I'm going to give you an example. Last year I was down on Lake Hartwell and I was retying a lure and my kayak drifted beside this dock. I looked down and there was a bass bed right there. I was directly on top of them and I could actually see the bass and they did not spook, right? So that's how stealthy a kayak can be. To fuel my kayak, I can stop at McDonald's, get a sausage, egg, and cheese McMuffin, and that'll cover my fuel costs for most of the day. Kayaks don't require gas, so all right. Catch, photo, release, or CPR system in kayak tournament over the traditional weigh-in. The CPR format has some great benefits like minimizing stress on fish, especially transporting them in rough water or extremely hot weather. And during the spawn, it eliminates basically the beds being unguarded and predators like bluegills going in there and eating the eggs. I remember last summer down on the terminal in Santee Cooper, after the weigh-in, you could see several fish over 6 pounds floating on top because they didn't make it. At the end of the day, right, that really bothered me. Anglers put ice in the live wells to try to help out. And, sometimes that's just not enough. It's not the angler's fault at all. That's just how it goes sometimes. Now let's look at the cons of a kayak. They have limited range and speed compared to a bass boat. They also have limited storage. Kayaks can be extremely challenging in high wind situations. Also, if you're looking for a kayak or bass boat, I highly recommend checking out Rock Outdoors in Lexington and Winston-Salem, North Carolina. They also have a new location in Hardy, Virginia. I just wanted to give them a shout out because they always take care of me when I go up there. Let me tell you about my transition from bass boat to a kayak. I would get frustrated if the fish were not biting in a certain section of the lake and I wanted to move to another section, of the lake. In the past, I could just fire up that Merc and be at the other end of the lake in no time. With a kayak, you can't do that. So that brings me to this. One of the biggest things I'm still learning with a kayak is which ramp to select, and I'm going to be doing a video on this in the future. I will say kayak fishing has made me a better bass fisherman. It has taught me to slow down and focus on the area that I'm in and not the area that I'm going to next. A lot of times we're like, okay, this isn't producing. I can't wait to get up to the next point. I'm going to throw a spinnerbait, I'm going to throw my crankbait, and then I'm going to drag it, with something like a Carolina rig. I focus on the spot I'm at. I've learned to cover the entire water column, which I will cover in an upcoming video on how I do that. It has also made me learn new techniques that I might not have used before. Kayak bass fishing is one of the fastest growing markets in fishing. Its popularity is at an all-time high, with professional anglers from the boating side continuing to cross over and fish kayak tournaments. You got anglers like Mike Acanelli, Jordan Lee, Greg DePalma, Brian Latimer, Dave Lefebvre, and that's just to name a few. This brings more light on the kayak bass fishing industry, which translates to more publicity, more sponsors, more money, and more potential anglers. The trend I'm starting to see is a lot of co-anglers are making an investment in kayaks and starting to fish kayak bass tournaments. To wrap this up, if price is not an issue, and there's no better platform to fish big waters than a bass boat, hands down. In the end, the choice between a bass boat and a kayak comes down to your personal preferences, financial situation, and fishing style. If the price or storage of a bass boat is an issue, I just want to let you know that you do have options. Catching a 10-pound bass is going to be something you will never, ever forget, no matter if you caught it from a $100,000 bass boat, the bank, or a kayak. This is something we started doing, I asked people to do it last video, is to submit questions that you might want me to answer. In the mailbag today, we have a question from John Smith. I actually know John, and he fished his first kayak tournament last month. His question is, can you compete without having all the electronics starting as a kayak fisherman? The answer is absolutely yes. If you have the skill and you put the work in, you can be just as competitive. Electronically, some kayaks are just as equipped as much as some bass boats are. I will say this because this is real talk. Every tool that you can utilize to give yourself a competitive edge over the competition should be in your arsenal. Don't forget that, y'all. If you'd like me to answer a question related to bass fishing, shoot me an email at realtalkwc@gmail.com. Once again, realtalkwc@gmail.com. And I will try to answer it online in my next video. If you got even a little bit of value out of this video, y'all know what to do. Set the hook on that subscribe button and drop me a comment so I know I'm giving you the content that you like. Tight lines, everyone. Check out my next video and see you on the water.